Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm dear darling, and shall we see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhallow today? Well, we'll be relaxing as per usual. I didn't really have much of a conversation about it, but yesterday, of course, the first episode of what's that game called? Everhood came out. I recorded it quite late, so I feel like I was definitely a bit tired during that episode compared to usual. But you know, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how the rest of it pans out. I did like it though. I was like, ooh, it's quite novel because it wasn't quite exactly what I expected, but I like it. Good evening, everyone. Right now in Fawnhallow, it's 8:56 p.m. on Tuesday, November 12th, 2024. Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to be talking about today. I'm just playing Neopets until I think of something. D&D session tomorrow. What's going to happen? I don't know, man. Who even knows what's going on anymore? But yeah, we can chat about, I'm not sure, what else happened recently. I backed the Root Kickstarter. I did the most expensive tier to get basically a discount on all the modules. Will I ever use them? That's a great question. I have no idea. That is yet to be seen. But I was like, I probably would at least eventually buy them at some point. Might as well do it for a slightly cheaper price. It's going to be very interesting what happens when the next module comes out, I suppose. Well, then I can do the cheaper tier and only just get the new module, right? I haven't done like Nookmar missions for like years. It certainly feels like. But yeah, apart from that, I think nothing particularly crazy has happened. We're on all recent timings. Like part of me feels like I should talk about Paddington, but I don't actually know. Like, what was the critical reception of Paddington? Hold on. Paddington, Peru. Rotten Tomatoes, what's going on? Also, Miss Brown looks really, really familiar. Emily Mortimer. What do I know you from? You're in Shutter Island? Maybe that's what I know you from? Shutter Island. Maybe vaguely? I'm not even sure if I've seen Shutter Island, to be honest. Ben Wishaw, who I assume as Paddington Bear's voice. Huh. Samuel Joslin, Jonathan Brown. 22, that's fair. He did look like a teenager in the things. I was just like, not a teenager, sorry. He looks like he was meant to portray a teenager, but I was like, this is like Disney teenager sort of thing. But I presume when the first one came out, he was probably a lot younger, 10 years ago. So yeah, he was probably like 12 when the first one came out. Wow, a sequel 10 years later is pretty crazy. Wait, I didn't know there was a Peter Rabbit movie. What? Is it any good? Hold on. 6.2, probably not then. What about Peter Rabbit 1? Was that any good? 64, okay. What about Peter Rabbit 3? Was that any good? Oh, it's coming out. Okay, crazy. Like, I love Beatrix Potter. The fact that I didn't even know there was a movie that came out or coming out is crazy. But like, Paddington Bear's got like some pretty good reviews. 92% on Rotten Tomatoes. 97% is the first one on Rotten Tomatoes, and 99% the second one. Oh my word. I mean, I guess I'll talk about Paddington Bear. Paddington Bear in general, not just the movies, because if you don't know who Paddington Bear is, it's a British bear, well, a British character, I suppose, who probably first, like, existed, you know, I don't know. I have no idea exactly when Paddington first came out. I'm gonna guess it's like 1940s or something. He's like a very, very old bear, as most sort of like British culture things tend to be. Is they tend to be, well, actually 1940s isn't even that old, to be honest, but still. I guess it's old for how modern, I guess, feeling-ish it is. It's not really that modern, now I think about it. I'm just like spouting nonsense. Anyway, long and short of it. He is like a fictional character who I think originated in kids' children's picture books, which I have actually read some of them when I was much younger. Like I've partaken in reading some of the stories. I don't really remember much about the books I read, but like the most notable thing about Paddington is he's got a very iconic blue sort of like, I'm not sure if I'd describe it as a rain jacket, but like a blue coat on. He's got like a red like flower hat. I forget what they're called. Bellflower hat, is that right? And he loves marmalade sandwiches. You might be like, what is marmalade? I don't know what the next actual definition of marmalade is. Like, it's like a preserve, I guess, a fruit preserve. It's a UK insurance company. Okay. It's a fruit preserve made from a juice of and peel citrus fruits boiled in sugar and water. Okay, so, you know, you can imagine how that goes. Imagine jam, imagine a sort of jelly, except for marmalade's not really quite the same, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, Paddington Bear, fictional character. Let's open up the Wikipedia, I suppose, while we're here. 1958, actually, more modern than I thought. Written by British author Michael Bond. I wonder if he had a cameo in the movies. So yeah, so he's just like an anthropomorphized bear. And he just sort of like travels and does very British things, I think. I can't really remember the plot, but like at least the plot of the movie, which I assume is semi-accurate, is he lives with a brown family, and I guess he's from Peru, as it turns out. I don't know, like this is something I wanted to see. Are brown bears native to Peru? I genuinely don't know. It's an Andean bear. Is the only bear in South America that's endemic to the tropical Andes. Okay, fair enough. So I guess he's an Andean bear. He doesn't look like an Andean bear, so I don't know why Paddington's necessarily from Peru, except for, I guess, alliteration, probably. But I don't know how else to describe Paddington, except for he's so quintessentially, like, British. He's like, he's almost like a stereotype of what people used to imagine British people would be like. I feel like nowadays the stereotype has certainly changed, but he's like a proper gentleman. He's so unbelievably polite and earnest, and honestly it kind of melts your heart. Like every time he speaks, it feels like I don't know how else to describe it, but the entire time I was watching this, it was like, it feels like I'm watching, like, it's gonna sound stupid, but obviously like a kid's picture book or something, but I don't know how to describe it. It almost feels like a layer above like a kid's picture book, of how like earnest and polite and sweet, and just like how soft, I suppose, everything is, in a way which makes sense. Of course, it is meant to be like an accessible kids movie. I would argue that kids could probably have a bit more of a complex plotline to follow through. Kids are don't always need the most straightforward of plotlines, I think, for something to interest them. But at the same time, I understand that the target audience is maybe like from 0 to 2 years old or something, so I'm definitely not the target audience for Paddington. But he is like a quintessentially sort of British, what's the word? Icon? Mascot? I think it's probably not all too uncommon to see him like in souvenir shops or whatever. If you go to Britain and you want to get like a teddy bear, because he's rather simple design, I suppose, and all that. Yeah. So I don't really know what else to say, except for, I mean, there's a lot of like handful of British sort of children's books where it's basically titular character goes on adventure or something. Like the other ones I can think of, which also feel like in the same sort of vein as Paddington Bear, is like The Magic Key. It's like the kids, what are their names? Wilma, Biff, Kipper, Chip, something like that. That's like something you read back in school. Paddington Bear's like along those sort of lines. He just, I don't know, he gets up to little hijinks, he's a little bit clumsy, he's very endearing. I think that's a word. It's so earnest and endearing watching Paddington Bear. It's almost like, it's a sort of thing which is like so soft, like even the most hardened of souls and hearts would still thaw. He could still thaw an icy heart. What do I think about the movie in a critical perspective? I think it's like, I remember I said this to my friend, like as I laughed, I was like, I criticised the Wild Robot for being too on the nose, which I later, for being too simplistic, which I later ran back and was like, okay, no, I think it's not, it's more just that it's too on the nose, and you know, I've obviously consumed a lot of media that the fact there's no twist or not much of a twist or surprise or anything particularly daring out there from Wild Robot should not be used as levied as criticism against it. But Paddington is so on the nose with its story. It's like every beat has I don't know how else to describe it, except for like it kind of wants to do like Chekhov's gun, the movie, which I previously described Bullet Train as being Chekhov's gun, the movie, which it basically is, by the way. Great movie. Would not bring you a 6-year-old to watch it, I guess. But it's just like the amount of times in the Paddington Peru movie where they introduce something early on and then later called back to it in the exact same way by basically repeating the exact same thing again is remarkable. But anyway, I think it was fine. Like, I had no issues with it. I'd be like, I absolutely was like, if I had kids, I would definitely bring my kids along to watch it. They'd probably have a whale of a time. It's inoffensive. It's very sweet. It's very charming, I think. Maybe it is offensive. I don't really know, to be honest. maybe people have a hit against Paddington. Which, if anything, seems a little bit sad, doesn't it? What's poor Paddington Bear done? To anyone to deserve such a vitriol. Anywho. Yeah, I don't really know what else about Paddington Bear there is. Like, what else can I sort of read? Michael Bond based Paddington Bear on a lone teddy bear he noticed on a shelf in a London shop. With Bond saying it looked rather forlorn. On Christmas Eve 1956, which he bought for his wife. What was the first Paddington Bear? Like, hold on, and then what? Write a story. Written his first book. Paddington Bear first book. He must have tons of books now. A bear called Paddington. Oh, wait, it's an actual, like, written story. For some reason I thought it was like, it was a kid's, like, what's the word? Photo. Not photo book, picture book. Paddington Rail Station apparently has a statue of Paddington Bear. That's probably true. I so very rarely go to Paddington Station, so I don't even know the last time I went there. He's a stowaway coming from darkest Peru, which I don't really know what that means. What does darkest Peru mean? Is that that might actually be a section from darkest Peru. Bond originally wanted Paddington to have travelled from the darkest Africa, but his agent advised against it because there are no bears in Africa. So they changed it to Peru, which is the home of a spectacled bear. Okay. The Andean bear, which doesn't really look like Paddington, but I guess that probably his design has changed over the years. Again, this is from my very critical, logical brain, I suppose, when it comes to engaging with media. So just watching Paddington being like, he looks like a brown bear, and I was like, I'm pretty sure brown bears don't. Or I was like, I'm not 100% convinced that brown bears live in Peru, but who am I to criticize Paddington Bear or judge it in that critical lens when really that's not what it's about. Anyway, what do I think of a movie? Yeah, I think it had its funny moments here and there. Hold on a second. Unpaused. Sorry. Back about Paddington Bear. But yeah, there are quite a few like iconic bears, right, in British media. Pudsey Bear, a symbol of children in need. What's that bear who is a puppet? Hold on. Yellow bear puppet British. I don't remember his name. Sooty. That one's a bit older than me, to be honest. What other iconic British bears are there? Is Winnie the Pooh British? Is A.M. Milne? Yeah, English. Okay, there you go. Let's see. Iconic. Oh, what the heck? I just opened up page info on Firefox. Iconic British bears. The Great British Teddy? No. Paddington? Yes. A brown bear? I think that's not true. We don't have bears in the UK. Top 10 best fictional bears. Guardian. Okay, Paddington. Winnie the Pooh. Bungle. I don't remember this one. Apparently on Sesame Street. Sesame Street's not British, is it? I thought it started in America. Wait, what? Yeah, American's educational. Baloo. I don't think that counts. Golden Compass. That doesn't count. Ted. Oh, Rupert Bear. That's it. That's like another one. Is that? Wait, hold on. Is that even? That must be British. Yeah. Yogi Bear? Hanna-Barbera is not British, right? American. Fozzie Bear. Was it what? Yeah, I don't know. No, I've never really thought about it, but why are teddy bears so popular, I suppose, as character choices in British media? I mean, I guess Paddington Bear is not technically a teddy bear. But like, you would have thought we chose like lions or dogs or something, right? Lions, at least, you know, for some reason, meant to be the national animal of the UK, despite the fact we don't have lions here. So I tend to appeal more to the swan being a symbol of the UK. The fact that we actually, one, do have swans here. Two, I guess it's represented a royal family, which feels quite quintessentially British. And three, we don't have lions. Why are lions? Like, how did that come to be? I'm questioning a lot about British culture now recently. I say recently, in this episode. But yeah, Paddington Bear, I mean, he's a very sweet bear. He likes marmalade sandwiches. And it's an iconic thing, I suppose, where he keeps a marmalade sandwich in his hat at all times. I don't know how to describe it. It's got very sort of like children's slapstick sort of humour, a vibe to it. You know, like, I think nothing really expresses the humour of Paddington Bear more succinctly than, I think it's in the trailer as well, because I feel like I remember seeing the trailer for Paddington 3, of the scene of him being in the, the photo booth, and he's trying to take like a picture of his face for a passport. And it's like, put your face in the oval. Put my face in the oval. All right then. I mean, he does it, and he goes, like, presses his face against it, and the camera flashes, and he goes, oh no! And he, like, tumbles off, and he goes, oh no, wait, as he tries to, like, screw up the chair again, and he unscrews it, and then he just, like, panics, and then, like, he breaks it, and then he just, like, leaves the place all dizzy, and he, like, knocks over some, like, souvenir stands, and he goes, I'm sorry, or something like that. I don't, that's not a very good Paddington Bear impression, mind you. I could try and do a good Paddington Bear impression, except I can't really remember what his voice sounds like off the top of my head, except for it's very, very British. It's perhaps the only way to describe it. And very, very British in a way which is not the same very British as me. My shovel! Well, okay. I guess we'll go buy another shovel. We might as well, like, sell the other things we got holding on as well. Yeah, it's been a hot minute since we've gone around clearing out all the weeds and flowers in our island. I think because normally we just sort of sit down and I can't be bothered to run around and actually do some maintenance on Fawnhallow. But yeah, so Paddington Bear. I've not seen the first and second. Would I? Maybe, I don't know. There's something about, I mean, I feel like it straddles that sort of in between. Well, it does literally straddle that in between a real life and animated movie, to the extent where I'm not interested enough in either side, I suppose. I feel like mixing mediums can be kind of cool, but it almost feels like we don't do... That's something I didn't consider before. It doesn't feel like we do anything with the fact we have a mixed medium. Or Paddington, you know. It feels like everything that Paddington does in it does not feel like something that is unfeasible for an animated... For like a real life character, quote, to do. Which almost seems like a missed opportunity in a sense, but I guess that's not really what they were going for. But yeah, Paddington Bear. I used to... I've read like picture books of him from back in the day when I was in reception, which is kind of like kindergarten sort of age, so it would have put me at like 3 or 4. I genuinely didn't know there was actual like full-on books. I just remember picture books. I can't even remember what happens in the picture books I've seen. Or I've read. He also looks different from what I remember. He's very simplistic in his design, isn't he? He's just got kind of like fuzzy fur, bead eyes. He very much looks like a teddy bear. Which I guess he was based off a teddy bear, so that kind of makes sense, right? Illustrated by R.W. Alley. People never seem to remember the illustrators. Unless you're Roald Dahl's illustrator, Quentin Blake. For some reason everyone remembers you. But... Not in like a bad way or something, but I'm just like... Oh, actually, to be fair, I didn't know Michael Bond was even the author for Paddington, so what do I know? Anyway, watched that over the weekend, because I actually feel like I didn't mention this at the beginning, because it was my friend's birthday, and he wanted to watch it. And I was like, sure, never seen him. Do I regret it? No. Would I personally go out my way to watch him? If you like Paddington Bear, I suppose, why not? It's like such a safe movie. There's like almost nothing to say about it. Like, I don't think anyone's gonna go into that movie and be like, I'm bored as sin. I don't think anyone's gonna go into that movie being like, I hate it. But I don't know if anyone's gonna come out of that movie being like, oh, it was the best movie I've ever seen. It was just sort of like, oh, how delightfully pleasant, like a cucumber sandwich at tea time or something. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap this episode up here. I don't know what I'm talking about. Paddington Bear, he's cute. What else can I say? So if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares, greatly appreciated. Socials, Discord down below. Hope to see each other again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye bye for now.